Greetings, welcome to Facts About Everything. I'm your host, James Egan. Did you know the world record for winning Pokemon Red and Blue is 1 hour and 38 minutes? According to the person who achieved this, the secret to winning the game quickly is to get Nidoking as fast as possible. And that is the first of 100 facts about the Pokemon series. Let's dive in. Pokemon Red and Blue was made by only 9 people. It took 6 years to make the games. All 151 of the original Pokemon were created by one person. The main villain and the final boss is the rival. He is the grandson of Professor Oak. Macchamp's original name was Judo. After the Pokemon animated show was released, Pikachu became incredibly popular. To capitalize on this, a reworked version of Pokemon Red and Blue, with Pikachu as the main Pokemon, was released called Pokemon Yellow. In Pokemon Yellow, the rival starter Pokemon is Eevee. Professor Oak was supposed to be the final boss. The first Pokemon created for the game was Rhydon. The last Pokemon designed for the game was Victreebel. Satoshi Tajiri was the lead developer of Pokemon. He said he came up with the idea while playing Dragon Quest. There is a hat in the game that rarely appears, which Satoshi desperately tried to find, but he never succeeded. He learned that one of his friends who played the game had obtained 2 of the hats. Tajiri believed that he should have one of the hats, as his friend would still have one to spare. Unfortunately, there was no mechanic to transfer the hat to Tajiri. This is what gave Tajiri the idea of trading items with other players, as is commonplace in the Pokemon games. Koffing's design in the original game is incorrect. Koffing has a Jolly Roger sign on his forehead. In all artwork, posters, television shows, the Jolly Roger is on his chest. This was corrected in every other game. Gengar is the ghost of Clefable. This is why their designs are incredibly similar and both Pokemon are immune to some of their attacks. There's a theory that Venonat was supposed to evolve into Butterfree and Caterpie was supposed to evolve into Venomoth. The fire salamander Charmander is one of the Pokemon you can start the game with. Oddly, his name is derived from the teachings of ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, who believed that salamanders could put out fire by walking through it. Weirdly, Leonardo da Vinci believed the same thing. Each Pokemon game has a theme. The theme of the first game is genetics. Ditto and Mew are genderless, weigh 8.8 pounds, and their HP, attack, defense, speed, special, and special defenses are identical. They both learn transform naturally, they are the same color, and they are both discovered in the same cave as Mewtwo. This suggests that Ditto is a failed clone of Mew. Gyarados was supposed to be a water dragon type. This was changed to a water flying type because a water dragon type has no weakness. This is why Lance, the leader of the Elite Four, has a Gyarados. The developers suffered many setbacks while making the game due to game crashing bugs. Late former president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, took over the project and fixed every single bug in 1 week. In his spare time, he managed to create a compression tool that made the game twice as big, just to show off. Pokemon Red and Blue was released in Europe on October 5th, 1999, 3 years after it was released in Japan. There were supposed to be 190 Pokemon, but the developers ran out of time, so they left it at 151 Pokemon. The remaining 39 were used in the sequel. Most people misspell Ninetales like this, when in fact it's like this. Mew was never supposed to appear in the original game and was only included 2 weeks before release. Even Nintendo didn't know about it until players started catching Mew. Some fans believe that Magikarp was meant to evolve into Dragonite and Dragini was meant to evolve into Gyarados. This theory kinda makes sense because their colors match. The Arnold family, Ryan, his mum Linda, and his twin David, his dad Glenn, and his sister Grace have all taken part in the Pokemon World Championship. This makes them the biggest family of professional gamers in the world. Koffing was originally called NY and Wheezing was originally called LA. This was an obvious joke for the smog in New York and Los Angeles. This was removed as Nintendo feared they would offend Americans. The most famous glitch in the game is the Pokemon Missingo. His name means missing number, which will cause the player to have unlimited items. However, it can also wipe all progress on the player's save file. Arcanine was supposed to be a legendary Pokemon like Zapdos and Articuno. He was replaced by Moltres. Mew's design is based on an embryo or fetus in the womb. This is why Mew is often seen in an orb. There's a theory that Cubones are actually baby Kangaskhans. The most useless move in the game is Magikarp's Splash. However, this is a mistranslation. It's supposed to say hop. Many players believe that the Master Ball catches any Pokemon no matter what. However, it has a 1 in 65,537 chance of failing. The game was inspired by the TV show Ultraman. In the series, giant monsters fight and are captured in little capsules after they are defeated. Despite what he looks like, Diglett has feet. Also, I always thought that red circle on his face was his mouth, but I was told recently that it's actually his nose. 19 years, I thought that. There are 18 Pokemon types: fire, water, grass, electric, normal, fighting, ground, steel, dark, ice, poison, psychic, bug, ghost, flying, fairy, rock, and dragon. Lickitung can't learn Lick. Pokemon Snap came out in 1999. It actually started off as a simple photography game. Pokemon were only inserted in the game halfway through production. Pokemon Snap is the first game in the series where the Pokemon speak. They have the same voice actors as the animated show. Also, let me know if you want me to talk about the Pokemon TV series. If you force Magikarp into a waterfall, he will instantly evolve into Gyarados. This is based on the Chinese myth of a fish desperately trying to climb a waterfall in order to enter a dragon gate at the top. If the fish reached the gate, it would turn into a dragon. Now let's look at Pokemon Gold and Silver, which came out in 1999. If you think it's crazy that the original was only made by 9 people, this was only made by 4 programmers. Despite what his name suggests, Mr. Mime can be female. The most damage that can be done in this game is 481,266,036 points. Pokemon Gold and Silver is known as Pokemon G2. This game focuses on mythology. The optional final boss of this game is Red, the main character of the last game. Some Pokemon change gender when they evolve. Wobbuffet's brain is in his tail. The rest of his body is a decoy that can endure any attack. The main town was originally called Silent Hills. This name was changed once the game Silent Hill was released. Pokemon Gold and Silver were meant to be the last Pokemon games. The company's CEO assumed that Pokemon was a fad that had its day in the sun. Nearly 20 years later, Pokemon is more popular than ever before. Ampharos is an electric sheep Pokemon. Ampharos is a reference to the Philip K. Dick book Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? The novel inspired the film Blade Runner. Xatu is a Pokemon that is named after the Zat totem pole. He was chosen for the game because his name begins with X, and Nintendo wanted the Pokemon to start with every letter in the alphabet. Girafarig's name is the same if spelled backwards. Based on his stats, Sunkern is the weakest Pokemon ever. Now let's look at Pokemon Ruby Sapphire, which came out in 2002. Spoink is a spring-hopping pig with a pearl on its head. He was inspired by the biblical quote, "Neither cast ye pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you." If Spoink ever stops hopping, he'll die. The water Pokemon Kyogre is based on the Leviathan from the Bible. The first Pokemon, Groudon, is based on the Behemoth from the Bible. Wow, this game really likes the Bible. Sableye is based on a supposed alien encounter in Kentucky. The alien had been nicknamed the Hopkinsville Goblin. Pokemon Ruby Sapphire are known as Pokemon Generation 3 or G3. It was also called Pokemon Advanced because it was the first Pokemon game on the Game Boy Advance. Pokemon G3's theme is humanity's relationship with nature. Spinda has 4 billion different spot patterns on his body, so you will never see 2 that look the same. Wailord is 14.5 meters tall, making him the tallest Pokemon. The Pokemon Regirock, Regice, and Registeel are based on the Jewish monster the Golem, which is also the name of another Pokemon. Now let's look at Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which came out in 2006. This game is also known as Pokemon G4 or Generation 4. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl's theme is the mysteries of the universe. The water creature Empoleon is based on the Greek god Poseidon and Napoleon Bonaparte. He is 5'7", which is the same height as Napoleon. The tortoise beast Tortora is based on the Chinese mythological creature, the Cosmic Turtle. This creature carries the world on its shell. The fire monkey Infernape is based on a mythological creature, Son Goku, the Monkey King. Now let's look at Pokemon Black and White, which came out in 2010. This is also known as Generation 5 or Pokemon G5. The game's theme is opposites. Sigilyph is based on the hummingbird glyph in the Nazca Lines in Peru. Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion are based on the 3 Musketeers. It took 18 months to write the game's story. Vullaby is a vulture who wears a human skull as a nappy. This is a children's game. Vanillish is an ice cream Pokemon. He can evolve into an ice cream with 2 scoops called Vanillux. Chandelure is a chandelier Pokemon. Were the Nintendo executives just looking around the room when brainstorming Pokemon? Trubbish is a trash bag Pokemon. How can a trash bag be alive? Pokemon Black and White are the first Pokemon games to have direct sequels, which are simply called Pokemon Black and White 2. Pokemon X and Y came out in 2013. It's also known as Pokemon Generation 6 or G6. The game's theme is life and death. Now let's look at some miscellaneous facts. Pokemon can evolve into more powerful creatures. Because of this, many Christian factions accuse Pokemon of promoting Satanism. Satan never mentioned evolution, so... Despite Christians' negativity towards Pokemon, Pope John Paul II found it inventive and imaginative due to its ties of intense friendship. Pokemon wasn't just a video game, but a trading card game. Some Christians continue to antagonize Nintendo by creating their own Christian trading cards. It was called Redemption, the Priest expansion set. Oh, I'm getting that on Amazon, just so I can play it ironically. Some Pokemon cards had to be discontinued because they had a manji on them. A manji is a Buddhist symbol of peace, but it looks very similar to a swastika. and swastikas are bad. A new species of pterosaur was discovered in 2014. It was named after the Pokemon Aerodactyl due to their physical resemblance. A granite spherical statue in Yekaterinburg, Russia has been painted by an unknown artist so it looks like a gigantic Pokeball. The Pokemon trading cards were banned in Saudi Arabia because it promoted gambling and Zionism. The Pokemon franchise is worth over $24 billion. Pikachu was Japan's mascot for the 2014 World Cup. The Pokemon Trading Card World Championship is a tournament where the winner will walk away with $25,000. 2 players were arrested for carrying machine guns, which they intended to use for killing the competition. The men received 2 years in jail. There are 24 core Pokemon games across 6 generations. There are around 80 Pokemon games. In the year 2000, a psychic attempted to sue Nintendo for using his likeness for the psychic Pokemon Kadabra. The Osaka Bioscience Institute discovered a protein that transfers information from the eyes to the brain through electric charges at incredible speed. The scientists who discovered it called it Pikachurin, since electricity and super speed are the 2 defining traits of Pikachu. The gene ZPTP7 used to be called Pokeethoroid Myeloid Autogenetic Factor, or Pokemon for short. Nintendo learned that this gene mass-produces cancer, and so they threatened to sue the institute if the name wasn't changed. There's a game on the Nintendo 64 called Hey You Pikachu. This game comes with a microphone and allows the player to talk to Pikachu. At this very moment, there is 802 Pokemon. A pedometer called the Pokewalker came free with Pokemon Heart Gold and Pokemon Soul Silver. At the time, it was considered to be one of the most accurate pedometers in the world. All the professors are named after trees: oak, elm, birch, rowan, juniper, and sycamore. It took nearly 18 years for Snorlax's sprites to stand up. Since Pokemon trading cards are so rare, some of them sell on eBay for over $100,000. MMA fighter Ronda Rousey is such a big fan of Pokemon that she lost a lot of weight while playing it because she kept forgetting to eat. Certain Pokemon are not allowed to be used in tournaments, including Wobbuffet, Clefable, and Cloyster. This is because they can learn certain moves so they can have an unfair advantage over their opponent. And finally, in Pokemon Sun and Moon, Gumshoe's appearance is based on Donald Trump. Be sure to subscribe to Facts About Everything. Follow me on Twitter for updates on upcoming videos. Check out my Facebook page to let me know what subjects you want me to talk about in the future. Thanks for watching, see you again.